Hey guys, it's Margarita and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to bring you the top 10 books that I want to read before the end of the year. So I have these separated into 3 categories. The first one is one book that I didn't really know where to put it. The second one is historical fictions, and the third set of books are all fantasy novels. And I feel like for me personally, in the fall and the winter time, I'm really drawn to fantasy and historical fictions, so that's why most of these books fall into either of those 2 categories. But the first book that falls into neither is Traffic by Ellen Hopkins. This is the sequel to Tricks, which is her story about, I believe it's 4, maybe 5 teenagers that get into teenage prostitution, how that happens, and their lives afterwards. So I'm really excited to get into this. I love all of Ellen Hopkins' books, and I have all of them except for the Crank series. I own all of her other young adult books, so I'm so happy to have this in my collection, and this should take me like a day to read, if that, because it's written like poetry. So the next set of books are my historical fictions. I have 2 of those. The first one is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is a story about 2 sisters during World War II in Paris and what they both do to try and resist Nazi Germany. And so yeah, I'm excited to read this. I'm really hoping to love it. The next book is The Miniatureist by Jessie Burton. This takes place in Amsterdam, and it follows a woman who gets married and her husband gives her a miniature of their house. And she realizes that this miniature house eerily reflects her own life. So it's that story, and I'm really hoping to love this. Yeah. All the next books, the next 7 books, are all fantasy books. So the first one is Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I read American Gods by him earlier this year, and it just was not the book for me. It's not a bad book by any means. I did enjoy it, and the longer I have to think about it, the more I realize it is a good story, but it was just such a struggle to get through, and I'm really hoping to read another one of his books and absolutely love it. I've seen this movie, I know what the story's about, and I'm just really hoping that this is a really easy and light read to get me through it, and that way I'm not quite so intimidated to read the rest of his work. So that's why that's on this list. I want to read that before I put too much time in between 2 of his books, and then I just have that bad taste of American Gods in my mouth. You know what I mean? So the next book is The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. I know I said I wasn't going to read this until the 3rd book, like at least had a date to come out, but I've been thinking of this series ever since I read the first one a couple months ago, and I loved the first one, and I need it. I need to read this. So this follows our main character, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher his name, Kvoth? I don't know. And it follows, he's telling his life story to this chronicler? This writer. And the first book follows his childhood, and I believe this book follows him into adulthood. So I'm really excited to read this. This is an epic fantasy. I really enjoyed the first one, so I know I'm gonna love this one, and I need it. I need it in my life. So the next book is another hunker, and that is The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. I read his Nightingale trilogy last year, and I just finished it the beginning of this year. I really enjoyed it. He has a wonderful writing style, and I loved his stories. They're so complex and they're so great. So I'm really hoping to get into this. This is a world where magic is controlled by different spectrums of light, or different colors of light, and the Black Prism can control all spectrums of light, but apparently that having that kind of power causes him to have a much shorter life. So I'm really excited to get into this, see the world that Brent Weeks weaves with this one, and I can't wait to get into it. The next book is, I believe, the last hunker on this list, and that is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I haven't heard anything but good things about this book. Everybody loves this book, and this is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy. I'm really hoping to get into it and love it. I'm really feeling some epic fantasy recently, so I can't wait to read this. I just can't wait. The next two books are books that I'm saving for October around Halloween time, because I feel like they'd be good books for that. The first one being The Red Queen by Christina Henry. This is the sequel to Alice. I read it earlier this year. It is a horror take on Alice in Wonderland, and Alice in Wonderland is my favorite story, and I love all kinds of retellings about it. So this is the second book in that, and I can't wait to read it, and I want to read it now. I've been itching to pick this book up, but I feel like this is going to be really, really great around Halloween time. So I can't wait to read this. The next book is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I hear that this is a lot of people's favorite book by her. I believe it follows these two friends that become like mortal enemies. So I'm really excited to read this and how that happens. And again, I feel like this would be good around Halloween time. I don't know why. I don't think it's a horror. It's like not horror or scary or anything, but I want to read it. And I feel like October would be a great month to read that book. So the last book that I'm really hoping to get into this before the end of this year is The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. And this is a fantasy novel about this girl in her kingdom. And that's pretty much all I know. I know that it's like heavily surrounded about politics and stuff, and I'm really excited for that. I don't need action-packed things all the time. And I've heard mixed reviews about this one, but I'm still really excited to read it and form my own opinion. So that is the last book that I'm hoping to get to by the end of this year. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!